I'm a journalist, and very pleased to be here.
So can you kind of briefly summarize what the film is about?
Sure. The Abominable Crime is a look at the human impacts of homophobia on two Jamaicans. One, Simone Edwards, who eventually flees the island and has to leave her daughter behind, and the other follows Maurice Tomlinson, who was Jamaica's leading gay activist, who was also forced to flee the country, but he decides to return to confront the homophobia that's come to define his society.
How long has it taken you to create this film?
I began this film about 5 years ago when I first met Simone Edwards. The shooting took about 4 years because in order to follow her story as she decided to leave and then moved to Amsterdam and then was reunited with her daughter, took about 3 years, and then it took another year after that to finish the editing and raise the funds to finish the film.
Okay. And was there any challenges, as you, like how you say in the film, there was a bunch of homophobic discrimination towards people, so seeing how like you were filming a documentary on homophobia, have you faced any challenges creating this film?
There were a lot of challenges in making the film. When you see it, you'll see that most of it is shot in interior spaces, and that's because most of the characters would have been at risk had we been filming with them out in the open. When we returned with Maurice, he was under death threat, and so he was very concerned that people would recognize and kill him, so again, we had to be very discreet in terms of the process. Fortunately, nobody got hurt during the making of the film.
Okay. So how do you think the screening went today?
Well, let me say one thing. The film was really finished because of the support of a group called the Pulitzer Center on Crisis Reporting. They fund long-term international journalism. I think the film was very successful this evening. You know, we had a full audience and people seemed very engaged, and hopefully it gets the word out about what's happening in Jamaica. But more than that, it helps to explain how homophobia impacts a life, and I think that's a story that hasn't been told before.
And do you have any last comments to say? All right.
No, thank you for doing this interview, and appreciate your interest.
Thank you.
As you can see from the documentary, which was excellent, there's a lot of work to be done. Our first major project that is a tangible project, not an abstract work of advocacy, is for a residential school for homeless, gay, and transgender youth who are born male. They consider themselves female. There's approximately 30 of these individuals in Kingston. They're hiding in the gullies, or what they call the gullies, what we would call rain sewers. And then there's in Montego Bay area, the other side of the island, another 50 or so that we've identified. I wrote up a little bit in the brochure about these individuals. I'd love to talk to you more about them. But what happened this past summer with Dwayne Jones, the murder of a 16-year-old who was born male, he considered himself female, he was dressed in women's clothing, and he was murdered because of that. And because of that particular incident, that's one of the things that brought us together to form CAF. And because there's so much work to be done, we can't just have one organization on the ground in Jamaica. There's J5 on the ground in Jamaica. They are trying to do different things. They've recently lost their physical space. They've lost their office space because of homophobia. So their hands are tied, but we can do a lot internationally and together, working together. I know you guys have a lot of questions. I can see it on your faces. So I'm going to be brief because I want people to ask me questions. I want somebody to ask questions like, why is it like this in Jamaica? Or what can be done? So I will give this back to you.
This is for everybody in the world. We feed people who are hungry right here downstairs. We help, there are 2 children in Africa that we sponsor that is for people who are with or affected by HIV. We have, my mind just went blank.
We're starting to make a campaign this year.
Thank you. And I just watched the film and it just completely went out of my head. But because of what we heard about what was going on in Jamaica, and now we see more about what's going on in Jamaica, that's one of our most important things that we're starting to do right now, is to help to sponsor someone to come out of Jamaica because as we just saw, it is very dangerous for anybody who is LGBT and questioning and queer.
Thank you, Cynthia, and thank you, Angie. Angie, stay up here, or please come here. And so, we had this here tonight for free. However, all the flyers and stuff said a $5 to $10 suggested donation. If you don't have anything, we're so happy that you came. If you have that $5 to $10, or if you have a penny, these two organizations have a whole lot of work to do, and work is not free. We need you to support us. So Art and
for equality, and we want to have a very meaningful discussion here. I see so many people personally I know. Thank you, Cassandra, for coming out. Thank you, Arnold, for coming out. Thank you, Kennedy, and many others who came out at my invitation. We want to make this meaningful to really allow this discussion to not just stay in this room, but also be put online. That's why we are trying to really remember this conversation so that efforts and feedback to the very important work that Micah Fink has done, and we thank you, Micah, for recording this story so that we can not just keep it in this room or keep it in any room, but it could be spread across the internet in an effort to end homophobia. So as I'm giving my donation, Jason, can you pass that to me? Right quick, thank you so much. We would just want to open the floor to what Angela noticed, which was the questions and the discussion. Again, thank you, Reverend Jordan.
any questions for these individuals? Don Raj is from Jamaica. He experienced violence. He himself experienced violence. And also, he saw someone murdered in Jamaica. And we're going to ask Michael, the person who produced the movie, to come up. Michael. And now, also, I'm telling you this. This is the beginning. Burning questions we want you to ask tonight. However, we also are going to have a panel discussion with just a time to discuss this in more detail. We discussed this with Jason when we started this process. This is the start of a long process. Tonight is only night one. All right? So we will begin this tonight. I told Don Raj we're not having a long discussion tonight. We already discussed this, okay? So if there are any questions for these three, yes.
I should just thank the Pulitzer Center on Crisis Reporting, which sent me to Jamaica originally and funded the documentary, and without them, there would be no film. So I just want to give them a shout out. And then any questions?
And now, questions.
Would it be better now for all Americans, regardless of their orientation, to just say, we're going to boycott Jamaica, we're not going to spend our money? Or does that really hurt?
That's an excellent question, and that's much debated amongst the LGBT community. The group that you saw, J-Flag, they were mentioned in the movie a couple times. You saw their symbols, I think. They seem to take the opinion that the question was, should Americans boycott Jamaica tourism? And would that be really hitting Jamaica where it hurts? And undoubtedly it would, because that is the main pillar of the Jamaican economy. They don't produce enough things now, they import everything. They're dependent on tourist dollars. My personal opinion is that if you really want the Jamaican politicians to take this issue seriously, that yes, you should make that known. Voters and some other tourist guides now have an explicit warning. They put a separate page that says, if you are gay, don't go to Jamaica. It's just not going to be okay. And what's an eye-opening experience for some Americans who are not themselves gay, lesbian, bisexual. So they are straight, they go to Jamaica, they're hanging out with their same-sex friend, walking down the street together, and they are the target of homophobic abuse. Because things that we take for granted in the United States and in less homophobic countries, such as being able to sit next to each other in a car, being able to sit next to your friend on the bus, if you are, it's more for men than women, two men don't sit next to each other in a car in Jamaica because of the perception that they are gay. And cars have been attacked because there's been too many men in the car. So the reality on the ground in Jamaica is that it is one of the murder capitals of the world. It's always in the contention top 3, South Africa, Colombia, and Jamaica. It's not safe, but people don't realize that there's an additional burden where homosexuals and perceived homosexuals are targeted for violence.
Let me just, Maurice Tomlinson couldn't be here tonight, and this is a question that comes up often when we do public screenings, and I just feel that I should give his answer, which is what he would like people to do is to write to the Jamaican Ministry of Tourism and say, I am not coming to your country, or I don't want to come to your country because of what I've heard. Just not going to Jamaica may have an economic impact, but nobody actually knows why you're not going. We did a speaking tour and series out in St. Louis, Missouri a month ago at a series of high schools and middle schools. And one of the middle schools brought out 600 kids. They saw the film, we had a discussion, and then all 600 kids said that they would write the Jamaican Ministry of Tourism. That number of emails coming out of the middle of America must terrify and get the attention of people. So if you can take the film, if you can show it to schools, kids seem to love the film. There are a lot of places for them to connect. And then if you can get them to write, I mean, I think if you actually want to have a real impact, it's not just a matter of 1 or 2 emails going out, but if the Jamaican Ministry of Tourism starts getting multiple waves of emails,
No,
you know, get their attention.
Still powerful. Of course, every person's email is powerful. Did you want to?
Yes. Hi, good night. To answer your question, I definitely agree with working in Jamaica because living there and experiencing what I've been through in Jamaica, I was angry at America, I was angry at England, I was angry at Canada, I was angry at the world basically, because it was like they were sitting down and just doing nothing while we are being killed down there. You know, Jamaica is a country that depends on big countries like this to survive. And I think that there should be a strong message sent to Jamaica. I know it's going to hurt a lot of people, and the poverty level down there is really terrible, but something has to be done. Tough love for Jamaica, but something has to be done. And behind the scenes of, yes, this film is good, but I don't think it's a start, but something more powerful we need to send a message to the politicians of Jamaica. And if we could get in contact with some ministers here, I don't know, senators or whatever it is here. I've been here 6 months, I'm just trying to fit in still. But if we can do something, anything that would send a strong, powerful message and let it know that gay people is the persons who send this message to the Jamaican public. Let them demonstrate, let them react, let them, you know, rejuvenate or whatever they want to do or rebel or whatever, but we can't just sit down and say, okay then, let's talk about it or let's write letters or that's a good way of means of going on doing things. But if we don't do something more firm, take physical action and let it know that gay people or gay persons are the reason as to why Jamaica is not uplifted or being in the country it should be, then I guess it's just going to continue. And more films are going to be made, but nothing is going to be done. Because as you watch the minister, what he said, his reaction is like, he don't care. It's an abomination, so that's whatever. So we need to send a strong message.
I'm going to try personally to make my answers shorter so we can answer some more questions. And I saw you had a question.
Could you speak up, please?
But I'll repeat it too.
I was supposed to be going down there in like the summer or whatever. I was supposed to be going down there on a cruise. But is it all over that?
Yes. Yes. The question was if the whole island of Jamaica is equally homophobic. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And that is the truth. I mean, how big is Jamaica? The size of Rhode Island? It's a small island. Connecticut, thank you, Connecticut.
Yeah.
He was a New England state. It's the biggest Anglophone island in the Caribbean, but it's also still a small island. It's a small community, and that's why when Maurice goes down, his family's there, people know everybody. They know each other. This is an island-wide problem. And that's why Simone and her brother said we had to leave Spanish Town because everyone in Spanish Town knew us. We had to leave to go somewhere else to try and live a life. but they weren't safe there either. You know, there's nowhere you can run in Jamaica. That's the harsh reality, and that's part of the reason why these young men are hiding in the gully, because they can't find any safe havens.
And just to say, you know, a great proportion of the Jamaican population actually doesn't live in Jamaica. Many of them live here, in Philadelphia, in New York, in Brooklyn. And so the connections between Jamaica and the United States, the connections between the US and England are very, very strong. And so another way that you can influence people back in Jamaica is by reaching out to the Jamaican community here and letting them know what you think about this and the film. And those messages go right back home.
Yeah, that's true. As well as remittance money, don't forget that.
Okay, and to answer your question again, if you want to go back to Jamaica, I would say yes, because I've signed for asylum and I would. Oh, you've never been?
I've never been. It's my first time going.
Okay,
so
well.
I don't know how it would be.
Okay.
With my husband.
Oh my God.
Oh, well, I wouldn't. Okay.
Twin bedroom. Because by every account, even if you told the reservationist, get me a king room, it's going to be split into a twin bedroom. And that, of course, sends off a certain radar in the whole hotel that something
Two
is
men
wrong
are
with
sharing
you,
a room.
you know. And of course, housekeeping, everybody's going to be in your business.
It's just going to be impossible for you to not set a foot wrong. It's very dangerous. Yes?
Is this something that
Sorry, so you guys, everyone, we have a question, so I want to get to the question.
I wanted to follow up on
Oh, sure.
the question. Is that something that we can do in terms of warning travelers going to Jamaica? I mean, it seems like if you purchase that ticket, the fact that you could have gone without coming here tonight and you wouldn't have been wiser.
I wouldn't have got life.
Right, and it seems like that's to protect at least American citizens going over there.
Do you know, so many American citizens know what's going on, and they feel, I can go there and nothing will happen to me, as long as I stay on the resort. They feel that. We know what's going on. We're not stupid. Most people know what's going on there.
That being said, there is a measure of safety on the resorts, because there's not going to be gunmen on the resorts, or machetes.
Can I say something now?
Yeah.
With all fairness to the American government, and this I have to congratulate Hillary Clinton for. If you go on the state website today, the United States State Department will tell you, not only for gay men, but they'll talk about corrective rape and the entire process. I encourage everybody to go there. Believe me, Hillary Clinton and the current and John Kerry, they're not lying about this. Because I have lived there for years, I know.
And I know that different...
I welcome... I'm going to put a link to it on the CAF website, so if you go on CAF, it should be there.
And I know that different tourist agencies are trying to make those warnings known, but the idea in most Americans' head of Jamaica is that it's in our backyard, and it's Bob Marley and rum showers and white sand beaches.
Is that something that we could mandate?
Yes.
When you purchase a ticket, that seems like with those percentages, it's very likely that harm is going to be caused to you. And
I guess
you didn't know, so it seems like...
Let's table that suggestion.
He's going on a cruise.
I'm just saying.
The cruise is different.
Yeah, because I haven't given that any thought, and I don't know what the procedures would be. I think travel.
Anything, and then lives on top of that. I mean, it's like it's a very different world than we know here. Totally different. I love that.
Put it this way, my phone was buzzing about the article before I got it.
Right. Somehow the Jamaicans are incredibly tech savvy. They hear every piece of news fast.
You mentioned of it sounded like propaganda. Oh well, there's going to be attacks on children, or they're going to somehow harm children. That was mentioned a couple times. Could you speak on that?
Did Simone say her child?
No, Ernest.
In Jamaica, you know, there's a whole ideology of homophobia. One of them is the legal system that says that it's a crime, right? And then there's the religious system that points to the Bible and says that homosexuality is a sin and sinners should be killed. You hear that everywhere. And then beyond that, what you hear is that homosexuality is, you hear two things. One is it's an American imposition, that they're pushing it from our culture. And the other is that it's like a virus, and that nobody is born gay, but you're made gay.
The British legacy, the colonial legacy,
So things like all over the world, Uganda, India, and Singapore, and Jamaica, there are all these colonial states. And is there any way for those communities, like, does your organization, for instance, work with any of those groups from other?
Kath, we do have some, we have at least one director from Uganda. We are working on partnering with different organizations there because they so desperately need help. It's in the same way that the Jamaicans and the other Caribbean cultures do. I think I don't know if everyone was able to hear, she brought up the colonial legacy because originally these laws, the anti-buggery laws, et cetera, were written by the English when they were the colonial power. And then now we have this neo-colonialist influence of the right-wing religion. They have said that they've given up on winning the war against homosexuality in the United States and in England, and now they are concentrating on the third world. They're sending their money, American dollars, they're funding big revivals, they're having huge events that are supposed to save the islands, purge the islands, and this has been going on now for about 20 years. But there is an additional factor that people don't, I think that is just coming to light, and we're seeing, and I think it's easy to see this trend now more than it has been in the past, and that trend is the way that homophobia is used politically. Some of you might remember that Robert Mugabe in Zimbabwe, when he finally became elected in 1980, he was one of the first to blame homosexuals for everything that went wrong in Zimbabwe and to talk about how they were an abomination. And so people credit him with coining a lot of this modern political homophobia. Putin in Russia is doing the same thing. He's saying that if we allow or tolerate homosexuality, it hurts our national state. It hurts Russia. And it's exactly the same lies over and over and over again. And they're always used by leaders who have, who are politically corrupt and who have very, very weak economies. They're trying very hard they're trying desperately to turn the population's attention away from their own corruption and ineptitude and focus it on very vulnerable people. And what happens, of course, is those people are targeted and they are killed, and the politicians aren't held responsible. So I think that that's what's fueling the modern homophobia as much as these other factors, as much as an old colonial legacy, which at this point is getting very faint, and the evangelical stuff in the West. Oh, time. I think we have one more question.
I just wanted to mention very quickly before Reverend Jordan takes the mic that I thank Michael for including the footage of Jimmy Swagger, because that has had a very positive impact. Well, I don't know positive, but a very strong impact on Jamaicans' ideas about homosexuality in the island.
I want to thank Cafe Advocate, Caribbean Alliance for Equality, for partnering with us tonight. Let's give them on. I want to thank Michael for making such a powerful documentary. One thing that really impressed me was that it showed lesbian women in it, because a lot of lesbians think they're protected and they're not. Now, I know I got somebody else up here to thank, but don't have to show me, thank you. But I told you this is step one. And I want everyone to sign their name on the way out, because I want to get in contact with you if you want to do something here in Philadelphia. And I'm going to tell you one of the people that's going to help us do stuff in Philadelphia, and that's Don Raj. And I only see it fitting that, Don Raj, you can't do like you did the meeting. I know you have a long, beautiful story. And you're going to only come a little bit so that they'll come back later. Don Raj is going to tell you a little bit of the story. And we're going to have a meeting where we're all going to sit down together and we're going to hear about Don Raj and others like him. And then we're going to decide this is what we're going to do. And I want y'all to do it with me, not the church. We're going to do this together. But I'm going to let you hear a little bit of Don Raj. And while Don Raj is speaking, I need at least $6 more. I need at least, now that's the preacher in me. I need at least $6 more. And so if you got 1, 2, pull it out and bring it up to me. Don Rod.
Yeah, good night again. I was invited here to give like a short speech based upon homosexuality. I never knew that the film would go so in depth in the life of being gay in Jamaica. And my life was similar to Simone's, but with a little bit more twist to it. I had a friend, well, yeah, my best friend really, and we went to my first gay party, which was kind of an underground thing. You know, you only get these things through persons who are gay. So he decided to take me there with him one night, and I was so excited. And of course I dressed the part because it was like a coming out moment for both of us. But on our way home from the party, he lived in one of those communities that wasn't violent, but it wasn't safe either. And we were walking, coming down, and there was some group of guys at a bus stop, 4 of them, and they started, you know, the remark of being gay. Even though I looked the part, I was pretending not to be. I tried to fix up myself in a way to just trying to fool them, but obviously it didn't work.
And with that, we're going to end.
That was a taste.
That's a taste.
That's a taste.
Sign the paper. You will get an email from me, and then you'll be invited back to plan some work. Thanks for teasing them, daughters. I love you so much. I want to tell you about a church, and he was so scared to use the word gay. And then I said, stop. Don Rod, I'm gay. There's my husband. Here's a picture of me in drag. And we love him so much. And I want all of y'all to come back. Give me your email address. Please give me your email address on the sign-in sheet, and we'll plan some action. Let's give it.
And you can buy a copy of the film for $10 back there on the table.
Yes, buy that film.